Hey there, I'm Allison and welcome to another Our Code World video. Today we'll show you how to create a GBA emulator with JavaScript using the GBA.js library. GBA.js is a Gameboy Advance emulator written from scratch to employ HTML5 technologies like Canvas and web audio. It includes support for audio, save games and pause resume feature. It uses no plugins and is designed to run on cutting-edge web browsers. It is hosted on GitHub and is made available under the 2-clause BSD license. We'll show you two ways to set up the emulator. The first will use the example of the official repository, and the second way will show you how to implement it from scratch. If you don't want to know how to implement a GBA emulator step by step, because you only want to test it, you can simply clone the repository using Git in your computer or downloading the zip file of the source code of the emulator. You will find the links at the official article or from the URL at the video. In this case, we'll use Git to clone the repository and we'll serve the files through XAMPP that uses Apache and PHP. Once downloaded, open the index file on the browser and you will see the emulator ready to work. We will load a Pokemon ROM file to test it. That's basically all that you need to do if you want an emulator for GBA in the browser with styles and without writing a single line of code. If you are up to how to write the emulator from scratch, follow the next step instead. As first step, download all the source code of the emulator from the official repository and place the files with the same structure that we show in the video. To create an emulator in the browser, we'll start in the same way you do with any kind of web page, creating some markup, including some JS files, and then opening it in the browser. Create a basic HTML document with the required markup, namely a canvas tag with the width and height of the original Game Boy screen. This file in our case will be the index.html file. Besides, you will obviously want to have the most basic action buttons that were available on the console as pause, the volume control, etc. Then, in the same resources folder, be sure to include the bios.bin file of GBA, available on the repository. This file needs to be located in the resources directory as it will be included using an asynchronous request later. Obviously, you can change the path where the bios.bin file from where the file should be imported later once we add the emulator required scripts. If you implement everything on the project and forget to include the bios.bin file, you'll begin to worry why it's not working, and it's obvious why, maybe not so much. We need the bios.bin file of the GBA to emulate ROMs. Think of it like you buy a car, but you don't have the key to start it. The BIOS, the key, has a specific set of instructions that tell the emulator, the car, how to start. So unless you've downloaded the BIOS, the emulator is not going to work. Then, the required scripts of the emulator are to handle the initialization, load the BIOS, change the volume, pause and resume the emulator, etc. Most of them are meant to be used when the user clicks on some button and others are used internally by other important functions. With all this code, your application will be finally available for its usage, and you can start to test it. Run your local server and go to the HTML file and test it. With this implementation, we didn't care a lot about how it looks like, but how it works. You will see a very basic structure that allows you to use the emulator perfectly. It's up to you to add styles, images, or whatever you need. Thanks for watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on your favorite social network, and share it with your colleagues. Visit as well the Our Code World website for more illustrative content about development.